Welcome to the Yossi Schmidt Show, presented by Team World Supporter. This week's episode is brought to you by Lagom Construction, Advanced Builders, M1 Construction, and YMG Contracting. Amazing contractors. You should use them. Highly recommended by me. In this week's episode, we interview the CEO of Getter, Jason Miller, and we discuss Getter's marketing and Truth Social, among other amazing things. Sit back and relax. Thank you for joining the Yossi Schmidt Show.
No, thank you very much for having me. It's an honor to be with you. And as I mentioned as we were talking before we started the program, I had the great opportunity to visit Lakewood, New Jersey recently as we gave away our Ford F-150 to Raphael Goldberg. And so it's great to chat with another fine citizen of Lakewood.
Yes, Lakewood's a very amazing community. We all are very, what's the word I'm looking for? Friendly. We're all a friendly community. We all are tight in the community, and it's an amazing place. You should come down more often.
I should. No, I should. They don't let me leave the office too much, except when I'm traveling around the world. So we're based here right at Columbus Circle, right in New York City in Manhattan. And then when I'm not in New York, then I'm in Arlington, Virginia. That's right across the river from Washington, D.C., where my family is. So I'm usually up in New York Monday to Thursday or Tuesday through Friday. And then in cases, say, for example, of next week, I'll be in France. Spreading the good word about Getter and doing some joint events with people. So I am very, very excited about that. But, we've had tremendous growth with Getter since we launched on July 4th. In fact, the U.S. domestic user base is about 37% of our audience, and the rest of the world is about 63%. So that just shows you just how powerful the desire for free speech is.
Wow. That's beyond amazing. I know you have at least 3 million users and growing daily.
Yes, and so we're up over 3 million users, which is really tremendous. And again, U.S. is about 37%. Brazil is about 13%. Japan's around 10 or 11%, and then France, Germany, the UK kind of round out some of the other bigger countries. But we're getting ready to start a big advertising push to hopefully ratchet things up in some additional areas. And it's the more that big tech causes turmoil and grief, and the more that they censor and deplatform people, the more that the reaction is people want alternative platforms. And I think the more the merrier. The better we do of decentralizing the power that big tech currently controls, the better we're going to be as free people.
That's true. So you say the more the merrier. What's your take on President Trump's new social platform launching very soon?
So we've actually seen a pretty big spike in new user signups with President Trump making his announcement for the simple fact that we are up and running and Truth Social is a couple of months away. Don't know exactly how long. I'm guessing it's probably going to be about maybe 3-4 months off, but Getter is up and going and thriving. And a lot of people might not realize, Yossi, this is actually a fascinating statistic. About 20 or 25% of Trump supporters from 2020 have left social media since he was deplatformed in January. And the reason why this is important is because a lot of people have felt that, big tech's always going to win. We can't stand up and do anything independent. It's all for naught. They've taken away our voice. They've broken our spirit. But with President Trump saying that he wants to get back on social media, then people are reacting. They're coming off the sidelines. They're seeing that Getter is available. So they're like, well, we definitely want to check out President Trump's platform when that gets going. But for right now, we have Getter, so we want to try it. That's what a lot of our domestic users are telling us. And I think there's room for competition. I mean, people are always going to have multiple social media platforms, and I would much rather have the space filled up with people like Getter and Truth Social and even Parler, for example, more so than just allowing the Silicon Valley tech billionaires to control everything.
That's very true and very, My head just missed the word, but will you be creating an account on Truth Social? Just like out of curiosity.
You know what? That's a good point. I imagine I'll probably create an account on True Social. I mean, I have an account. I have an account on a number of platforms. I have Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Parlor. I even have an account on Gab when I wanted to see kind of what that was about. Some of the stuff that's said on there, I certainly do not condone or support. There's some people have some political beliefs that are a bit different than mine, but I imagine I'll probably create something on True Social to go and check it out and have that kind of that baseline of experience. And quite frankly, I hope people join multiple things. If anything, it's a rising tide lifts all ships. This is going to bring millions of more people off the sidelines into back into social media, and a getter with, especially with the new features we have coming up, our G Vision, our short video concept that we're going to be rolling out in the first week of February, as well as Getter Pay, our two coin ecosystem that we'll be introducing in July of 2022. We're going places where no one's ever gone with social media, and essentially making this the all-in-one free speech platform. So first we get people off the sidelines, and then we get them together.
Wow. I'm really looking forward to these new features you just mentioned. As a social media platform reviewer, I'm sure you've checked my page out on Getter. I really enjoy when alternative social media platforms like really just get out there and become an all-in-one platform. I really look forward to that.
Well, thank you. And one of the things that we firmly believe in is we want to make sure that people have their freedom of speech, their freedom of creativity and self-expression, but also the freedom to control their own financial destiny. And I think that there are tens of millions of people in the U.S. and hundreds of millions around the world who aren't participating in the digital economy for the simple fact that maybe there's been a trust deficit. Maybe they haven't really trusted different entities or they thought it was too confusing or too hard to try to get active in some of the crypto space, or to take advantage of some of the peer-to-peer lending opportunities that might be available, say with different blockchain technologies. We're going to make that easy. We're going to continue to make the platform fun for new users. And again, knowing that this is the platform where nobody is ever going to be canceled, suppressed, shadow banned, algorithmed, out of existence purely for stating their political views, then we know that it's a strong foundation from which to build.
Wow, that's amazing. Wow. So, yeah, that's pretty amazing.
Thank you. We're very excited about it. A strong team that's been working on this for even going back to last year into 2020. And, what we've seen, Yossi, really over this last year, I guess you could say year and a half now, has been the single worst year for political censorship and discrimination in world history. And I think that we're slowly starting to turn the tide and get this reversed around. But it's going to take more. It's going to take more people making their voices heard. As we've discussed, it's not just here in the U.S., it's around the world. I mean, particularly we see the struggles that President Bolsonaro is going through. We see the struggles that Eric Zemmour, the conservative candidate in France, who's running for president, what he's going through, with what Nigel Farage is fighting to do in the UK. So this is a global issue, and who would have thought that it would have been the economic nationalist types, the patriots, the right of center patriots from all around the world, who are doing more to bring people together and create unity among differing nations than what we've seen on Getter. But we're the ones who've done it. You don't see this type of unity, say on Twitter, for example.
Well, Twitter went ahead and banned President Trump. I mean, you don't see any unity over there.
Exactly. Now, everything is, I look at Twitter every day, and typically it's just I glance to see if anyone's had a specific, if there have been any big news stories or anything like that might be popping, and you say anything on Twitter, and immediately there are hundreds of comments of people just saying terrible, horrible, mean things, all from fake screen names, and these people are chickens and cowards, and so there's a reason why Colleen McArdle from the Washington Post had an article the other a week or two back saying that Twitter's business model is misery, and that's why they've never been able to monetize in the way of Facebook or some of these others, because all it is just one big echo chamber of misery, and it's Twitter's no fun. But with Getter, we're going to try to make social media fun again.
You already are doing that with your third giveaway now. Your first giveaway, like you said, was to Raphael Goldberg, the truck. Then your second giveaway was the Harley Davidson.
Yep, that went to Jeannie Lyle in the Villages, which is it's about 45 minutes outside of Orlando, maybe about 45 minutes from Orlando, maybe about an hour from Tampa, just north. As a resident of New Jersey, you probably know people who've moved to the Villages to retire. It's a great planned community in rural Florida, and showed up, and Jeannie had about 50 of her neighbors out there, and she had a big, huge homemade sign. But the new one we're doing is Home for the Holidays. And so it's a contest we're running from December 2nd until December 12th. So until next week, where we're going to pay, listen to this, we're going to pay someone's rent or mortgage for an entire year. That is just absolutely crazy. Nobody does that. And the reason being is we know that a lot of people, especially those who are hourly wage earners, people who really have to work hard for a living, they've had a lot of troubles during COVID. There are a lot of businesses that haven't come back. There are a lot of bars or restaurants. Really, the backbone of America are these small businesses. A lot of them haven't come back. They've shut down during COVID as our economy has started changing. So yes, some people are doing fine with, say, the stock market and things, but a lot of people who have to show up and work every day really could use the help. So now we do have, just so you know, we do have a cap of $20,000, just because the national average for mortgages is about $1,600, and national average for rent is about $1,900. So that would fit within the $20,000 when you extrapolate it out. But I know New Jersey, where you are, $20,000 might get you a timeshare for about 20 minutes in certain parts of the state. But otherwise, if we want to make sure we weren't paying rent for some millionaire on Park Avenue or something, so that's obviously not the target audience. But we're going to do the drawing here coming up beginning of next week, and we're going to have over, I believe, 50,000 people who've entered the contest for a chance to win. And I would just encourage you to go to Getter.com and make sure you create your Getter account, enter for your chance to win. You might want to get your rent or mortgage paid for an entire year.
I'll put a link to this in the show notes of the podcast.
Oh, great. Thank you. No, that's appreciated. And so again, go to Getter, Gettr on the Apple Play Store. Go to Getter on the Google Play Store. Or go right to the website, Getter.com, Gettr. Create your account. Sign up for your chance to win getting your rent or mortgage paid for a year.
So, I'm loving the marketing. Marketing is like I've never seen before. For Getter, I'm loving the marketing on Tucker Carlson Tonight. All over. You're all over. I'm really loving it.
Well, thank you. No, it's really my background is, in addition to politics, has been in marketing, both commercial marketing, but then also in political marketing. And I've brought along a couple of people who've worked with me for a number of years, including when I co-owned an advertising firm. And we're swift, we're nimble, we come up with a lot of fun ideas. And the other thing, too, is we realize that the one thing I learned from President Trump, Yossi, is you have to be real direct and real blunt with your message. You have to very much tell people what's in it for them. People are bombarded with so many pitches and so many different commercial products and all these things that you really have to make it clear, hey, this is a free speech social media platform. We're going to make sure you can talk about politics or other things in your life without the fear of getting canceled. And so many people right now support free speech, oppose cancel culture. They feel they have nowhere to go. We're giving them that place to go now.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah. So, it's amazing what you're doing, and So, just quick question: what makes you passionate about free speech?
Great question, because I don't come from a traditional lifetime of free speech advocacy. I think, real simply, just seeing what happens when the shoe gets put on the other foot and just realizing how quick what people might think is just a little tinkering around the edges on free speech rights then swings the presidential election. I mean, the fact of the matter is, if the Hunter Biden story had not been suppressed by big tech, where they wouldn't allow people to share the New York Post story, then President Trump would have won re-election. I mean, 1 out of every 6 Biden voter in a post-election survey said they would have considered voting for somebody else other than Biden if they knew about the decades-long grift and corruption as exposed by Hunter's business dealings. And again, it's not just about his Burisma contract, for example. It's the fact that he's doing business with Red China, which, as we see the CCP being very aggressive in testing Biden constantly, you wonder why Biden's not tougher. Well, because they have the family business dealings, but also the decades-long grift and corruption and selling access to Joe Biden by Frank and James, his 2 lobbyist brothers. And it's realizing that as soon as we start cutting off legitimate free speech, and it becomes, and again, this isn't about people out there pushing to do illegal activity or pushing sedition or other crazy things. This is outright just, we disagree with your political philosophy. So we even take what we saw Google and YouTube do, which is start putting up warning banners for anyone who brings up climate change. Now, I wouldn't say that I'm by no means am I an eco-loon, as they call them over in the UK, but I'm also not someone who's goes in the opposite direction. It's an issue that I track and pay attention to, but I think a lot of the science is clear, a lot of the science is unclear. But nobody voted for Google, nobody voted for YouTube. Same thing, no voted for specific CEOs like Zuckerberg or Dorsey. And for these folks to now be coming in and playing these political discrimination games, who gets free speech and who doesn't, I think is pretty troubling for society as a whole. So I want to try to make sure there's a free speech outlet, and again, not even just domestic U.S. but global, that people know, hey, this is the place. This is my free speech safe space. I can come and say what I want and not get deplatformed just for having a particular worldview.
Wow. So, this, that's amazing. Yeah, so Twitter censoring the New York Post is what might have cost President Trump the election, among several irregularities.
Yes. So that when you have only 44,000 votes over 3 states that make up the difference, then any one thing could have swung it, whether it be fraud and irregularities. Obviously, there were a number of problems with that, but the way that the rules were changed by some of these Democratic states or executives going around their state legislatures. That was certainly unconstitutional. Obviously, the suppression of the Hunter Biden story. So any of these things on their own probably would have done it, but definitely when you start factoring in overall, then it's then for sure.
Wow.
And one thing, Yossi, just so you know, I do have to go right 2:30, so I got a couple more minutes if you wanted to do kind of a wrap up question.
All right, so I'm just going to wrap up with this. Is there an email address for me to email and they will get back to me right away? Not right away. I don't want anyone bound by me, but is there an email address that they would respond to questions I have for the Getter review?
Yeah, absolutely. Just send it to my email. If you do that, then that'll my email right to me, and that's obviously I can answer any questions for you.
Awesome. So I'm looking forward to doing the Getter review, and thank you again for joining the Yossi Schmidt Show, and have a wonderful, wonderful day.
Thank you, sir. It's an honor to be with you.
All right. Thank you very much. I want to remind you that Film World Supporter is always here to review your platform that you own or a platform that you want us to review, as long as everyone works with us, answers all our questions, and has nothing to hide. And yes, guys, it's officially here. The TWS Nightly News Roundup is officially here for you to go get your one quick stop shop of news on our website with all the links there for you to check out the source, for you to read whatever you want. It's all there in one spot for you, one blog post for you. Come on over and check it out and become a member of our site so you can get notifications on when it's live and when it's not live. Thank you very much for listening to this episode. Thank you so much for listening to this podcast. Please remember to subscribe to us, follow us wherever you listen to podcasts, and stay tuned for the next one. Thank you so much.